A very warm welcome to all of viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Global TV's news cycle, live in Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I am Judith Peters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu promised to reconstruct Elemir Aziz of East-West Road, thanks Rivers State for steward support given to his administration. Welcoming a high-powered 62-man delegation comprising of leaders from both the governing All Progressive Congress APC and the opposition People's Democratic Party PDP to the State House, the president said the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has left big shoes to fill for the new Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and that as one of his most trusted allies, Rivers State will always have direct access to him in their joint march towards sustainable development. President Tinubu noted that concerning infrastructure development in Rivers State, he had heard the cries of prominent Rivers sons, with particular reference to the Elemili Junction only access of the East-West Road, linking the Port Harcourt refinery. On this, the president said the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike is a strong advisor and would follow up on the issue for prompt action, saying that the Honorable Minister Wike is not just the Minister of FCT, he is also his advisor and admirer, advising younger generation to be more patient with the processes of government. The president said, "I am the captain and chief salesman of the country. We have to reverse the trend and achieve possibilities within a short period of time. Our people have high expectations for us. I pledge to work hard and I pray to God to put me on the right path, not to disappoint Nigerians," the president concluded. Also, still, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of Zaccheaus Adedeji as the new acting executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. President Tinubu appoints says Honorable Zaccheaus Adedeji is hereby appointed as the acting executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service in acting capacity for 90 days before his subsequent confirmation as the substantive executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service for a term of 4 years in the first instance. The statement was read and signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Njarin Galale, on Thursday. The President also directed the S-Words FIRS Chairman, Mr. Mohammed Namin, who has served since December 2019, to immediately proceed on 3 months of pre-retirement leave, as provisioned by Public Service Rule PSR 120243, leading to his eventual retirement from service on December 8, 2023. Also, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has extended his profound condolences to the government and people of Libya following the aftermath of the devastating impacts of Storm Daniel and the subsequent flooding that has severely impacted the eastern region of the country. A statement signed by Special Advisor to the Tinubu on Media and Publicity, Njarin Galale, says the president further commiserated with all families who have lost loved ones in a monumental disaster, saying he sends his best wishes for a speedy recovery to all who have been injured during the tragic incident. Anjuri said the president assured the great people of Libya of Nigeria's unwavering solidarity and goodwill during these trying times, adding that the disheartening loss of lives, homes, livelihoods, and critical infrastructure remains a shared grief that further unites the people of both nations. And ahead of the G77 plus China Leaders Summit starting Friday, the Vice President Kashim Shettima has expressed the desire of Tinubu's administration to deepen existing bilateral relations with the public. Cuba Global TV's Judith reports that Vice President Shettima stated this today during a courtesy visit to the Vice President of Cuba, Salvador Valdez Mesa, at the Palace de Revolution in Havana. In his remarks during the visit, the Vice President traced the history of relations between Nigeria, African, and Cuba, especially to put for Southern African. While commending the existing relationship between the two countries, Vice President Shettima reiterated the need to recommit to future relations, saying our relationship has been very excellent over the years, and these relations need to be strengthened and upscaled. Director Information Office of the Vice President Olusola Abiola said in a statement that the Vice President stressed the need to explore opportunities in science, technology and innovation as well as the agriculture sector. It took time to deliver a special message to the President of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel, from President Bola Tinubu, assuring him of President Tinubu's commitment to deepening their mutual relations. In his remarks, the Vice President of Cuba was full of praise for Nigeria's leadership role in Africa and the world. He also thanked Nigeria for its participation at the summit, saying his country attaches great importance to the presence of Nigeria in his country.
I'm sure it will be, it will do a lot to actually deepen and improve our bilateral relations. I would like to say that we are more than willing, actually, to improve and recover our relations, commercial relations and other relations in other areas, and actually to take these relations up to the level of our political relations.
In the Vice President's delegation to Cuba's Vice President, where the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Abubakar Kyari, Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji, and the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Adamu Lamuwa, and Nigeria's Ambassador to Cuba, Ambassador Ben Okoye, amongst others. Still, the news cycle on Global Television, also Vice President Kashim Shettima Steele and the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, would lead stakeholders across the country to design new economic reforms. The federal government has also assured Nigerians that the current economic hardship is temporary, saying other reforms by the administration of President Bola Tinubu will start yielding results. This was disclosed at the three-day 22nd edition National Council of Developmental Planning (NCDP) and Joint Planning Board (JPB) meetings held at the Center for Black Culture, Osogbo, Osun State Capital. The Director of Special Duties of the Federal Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, Gloria Ahmed, explained that resolutions from the past edition have served as critical input to National Economic Council (NEC). Also, the Armed Forces of Nigeria says Operation Hadankai in the northeast has effectively curtailed Boko Haram and other terrorist activities in the region. Director of Defense Media Operations Major General Edward Buba made this known while keeping journalists abreast of operational activities of the military at the theater of operation in the last 1 week. He stated that this is indicative of large-scale.
According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, operational activities of troops in Operation Hadarin Daji and Operation Wheel Punch have made significant impact to cocktail banditry and insurgency in the northwest and north-central regions of the country. During the course of operations in the last 1 week, the military neutralized 151 terrorists, arrested 456 terrorists, and arrested 45 perpetrators of oil theft. Troops also rescued 76 kidnapped hostages and denied oil theft of the sum of 1,11,851,250 naira.
12 terrorists, while others fled. In the engagement, troops recovered 5 AK-47 rifles, 2 fabricated rifles, 2 den guns, 30 rounds of 7.62 special, among others. In a separate incident, on the 7th of September, troops conducted offensive operations to terrorist enclave in Goza local government area of Ondo State. Troops made contact with the terrorists and neutralized 25 of them. Troops recovered 8 AK-47 rifles, 27 rounds of 7.62 special, 1 Beretta pistol, 13 rounds of 9mm, among others.
The upsurge in anti-illegal oil bunkering operations by troops of Operation Delta Safe in the South-South region has yielded desirable outcomes. Troops in the Niger Delta area discovered and destroyed 21 dugout pits, 56 boats, 138 storage tanks, 235 cooking ovens, 6 pumping machine, 1 outboard engine, 2 speedboats, 89 illegal refinery sites, and the sum of 13,950 naira.
21 dugout pits, 56 boats, 138 storage tanks, among others. Troops also apprehended 45 oil thieves, perpetrators. The air component of Operation Delta Safe conducted air interdiction over Bile and Ijokiri, respectively. Active illegal refining sites were acquired, and
he added that the military operations underscores the importance of ongoing fight against insurgency, which is critical to the nation's efforts in achieving peace and security.
Thank you. Still, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja on Thursday are set aside the judgment of the National and State House of Assembly Election Tribunal delivered on July 24th, which declared Ndudi Elumelu of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) as winner of the last election for Anocha Oshimili Federal Constituency of Delta State. The court, which is sitting at Sabah, Delta State, affirmed the candidate of the Labour Party, Ngozi Okole, as a duly elected lawmaker. It faulted the tribunal for voting Okole's election and proceeded to dismiss the petition filed by Elumelu before the trial tribunal and on which the voided judgment was given. The court agreed with counsel to the Labour Party Mahmoud Magaji that contrary to the findings of the tribunal, Okole was duly nominated and sponsored by his party and that he resigned his appointment as a senior special assistant to Delta State government as required by the Constitution. Also, there is a widespread blackout across the country following the total collapse of the nation's electricity grid early Thursday morning. It was gathered that the grid collapsed totally around 12:40 a.m. on September 14, 2023, leading to the massive loss of supply to power distributors nationwide. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, which manages Nigeria Grid, has yet to make any statement about the development. About a week ago, the transmission firm celebrated what it described as 400 days of power grid stability in Nigeria, as it claimed that the grid witnessed no collapse all through the 400 days. Meanwhile, Adebayo Adelabu, the country's Minister of Power, has shared a statement on what caused the national grid collapse that has resulted in general power outage experience across the country. According to him, there was a fire at the Kanje-Jeba line, but the outbreak has been taken care of. You are watching Global TV's news cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes, channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. We'll be back with more stories for you after this short break. Please don't go away. Back and thank you for staying with us. And if you're just joining us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of the news cycle from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. And now on the foreign, the French foreign minister has announced on Thursday that a French citizen detained in Niger in the wake of the coup that hosted President Mohamed Bazoum has been freed. The French government says it welcomes the liberation of Steven Julien, a spokeswoman for the ministry. Julien said a businessman long based in Niger had a role representing the interests of French expatriates at the French embassy. He was arrested on September 8 amid deteriorating ties that followed a coup in the former French colony in West Africa. Moreover, the Presidential Guard seems to be dissatisfied with the means granted to it. Its financial emolument and its increasingly harsh working condition. Meanwhile, rumors of a mutiny are growing within the Presidential Guard. There are now growing signs that the Presidential Guard's confidence in its high command is eroding. Consequently, disagreements among junta members are growing, both over how to deal with the already pervasive effect of sanctions and on the future intervention of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Still on the foreign scene, Tunisia has denied 5 EU lawmakers entry into the country. The European Parliament said on Thursday this comes amid ongoing debate about a migration-related aid deal signed with Summer in July. Brussels offered Tunis €1 billion worth of aid in the controversial deal. The deal is aimed at combating irregular migration to the EU and was signed in spite of allegations of human rights abuses by the Tunisian government. The agreement, which came with conditions that Tunisia has yet to meet, is meant as an incentive for Tunisia to curb departures of migrants trying to reach EU countries by sea. The parliamentaries plan to meet with civil society representatives in Tunis from Thursday to Saturday after requests for a meeting with the government were rejected. Still, the European Commission said it was surprised by the move after EU officials had visited Tunisia several times in the past months. Also, big tech executives, including Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, traveled to Capitol Hill on Wednesday to share their plans for artificial intelligence as the U.S. prepares to draw up legislation to better control the technology. Senator Chuck Schumer, the Democratic majority leader of the U.S. Senate, has planned a series of so-called AI innovation forums, closed-door meetings where lawmakers can quiz tech leaders about the technology, and has taken the world by storm since the release of ChatGPT last year.
Elon, what did you say to the senator? The reason that I've been such an advocate for AI safety in advance of sort of anything terrible happening is that I think the consequences of AI going wrong are severe. So we have to be proactive rather than reactive. I think the probability of there being some sort of AI regulatory agency that stands on its own, similar to the FAA or FCC, is likely at some point. If you take the example of say, seatbelts. Seatbelts were opposed by the auto industry for a very long time, even though the data was very clear that they're safe, that they radically improve deaths and injuries. So, you know, we don't want to be in that situation where we're fighting regulations, even though, you know, there's a safety thing. We can't wait for millions of people to die in auto accidents. As you know, and it's important to just elevate the question here. The question is really one of civilizational risk.
Europe is well advanced in its own AI Act, and the pressure is on U.S. lawmakers to avoid falling behind and seeing AI overwhelm society, with lost jobs, rampant disinformation, and other consequences before it is too late. Also, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has released a statement saying that fossil fuels continue to make up 80% of the global energy mix. In its September 14th statement, OPEC called out the assertion by the International Energy Agency, IEA, that fossil fuel demand would peak before 2030. Stating that the assertion was not made on database focus, OPEC noted that it is an extremely risky and impractical narrative to dismiss fossil fuels or to suggest that they are at the beginning of their end. The OPEC statement also referenced its Secretary General Edmar Al-Ghaz, who had said that such narratives only set the global energy system up to fail spectacularly, leading to energy chaos on a potentially unprecedented scale, with dire consequences for economies and billions of people across the world. According to OPEC, energy issues have climbed back to the top of the agenda in recent years for population, as many have seen how experimental net zero policies and targets impact their lives. Back to Nigeria, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, on Wednesday announced the shutdown of the Yakubu Gowon Airport in Jos, Plateau State, for 1 week. FAN management said the airport will be temporarily closed to flight operations from Saturday, September 23rd to September 29th, 2023 for runway maintenance. FAN said the closure is necessary to ensure the safety of passengers and aircraft. And for more updates on sports, let's now join Sharon Ajay.
Nigerian Super Falcon forward Desire Ugochi Oparanozie has announced her retirement from football for both country and club side at the age of 29. Oparanozie was included in the squad that represented Nigeria at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, which started in July and ended in August. In a post on Wednesday on her X account, she expressed gratitude to her fans, family, and friends, thanking them for the show of love and support over the years. She, however, announced that it's time to take a bow as she believes there's no better time than now. She stated that the post is her official announcement of her retirement from professional football for both club and country. During her 13 years career, Oparanozie played for 9 different clubs, taking off from Bayelsa Queens in 2010. In a different development, ahead of the 2023 African Cup of Nations AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has unveiled a list of 85 referees comprising center referees, assistant referees, video assistant referees, VARs, technical instructors, physical trainers, VAR technicians, and IT support for a preparation course. Referees from about 25 countries were listed to take part in the course that will serve as a refresher for AFCON 2023 officials. However, it's been observed that no Nigerian referee was included on the list. 2 North African countries, Egypt and Algeria, have the highest numbers of names penned down in the center referee lists, as Morocco, Mauritania, Mauritius have 2 each. Other countries featured on the list are Gabon, Ghana, Benin, Congo, Somalia, and a host of others. Sharon Ajay reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you very much, Sharon Ajay. And that's it on the Global TV News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform using our Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your TV screen. On behalf of the production team, I am Judith Peters. Thank you so very much for watching. See you.